In this one, I'm going to be showing you exactly block by block how to put together this super easy iron farm that also is super efficient and will give you tons and tons of iron, more than you will ever need. But before we get into that, I want to talk about some of the basic concepts around villagers and iron golems and how you can make one of these iron farms for yourself if you want to make a custom one. So yeah, let's get into what exactly makes these iron farms work. So in order for villagers to actually make an iron golem, they need to have some factors that are met. One of them is that they need to be able to work. Another one is that they need to be able to sleep. Another one is that they need to be threatened by some sort of hostile mob. And different mobs actually have different radiuses of how far they can threaten villagers. And the last one is that they need to have not seen or sensed an iron golem nearby in the last 30 seconds or so. And they can sense iron golems being around them within 16 blocks of them. And the block that it's going out from is the bottom half of them, and then it goes out 16 blocks. So like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. They'd be able to sense an iron golem all the way out here. It also goes above them and below them. So when we actually get into building our iron golem farm, we need to keep that in mind, and that's why we drop the iron golems about 20 blocks, because it needs to drop the 16 blocks from the bottom of where all the villagers are, but then it also needs to drop the height of the iron golem, so that'd be 3 more blocks. So I'm just going to go ahead and make sure that we drop it 20 blocks just to make sure that it works. Also, when building this thing, you need to make sure that they can actually access all of their workstations so that they are able to work and that they're all able to sleep to ensure that they're going to be able to, produce the iron golem. They also need to be threatened by this guy right here or some different kind of hostile mob. It doesn't need to be a zombie. Actually, Vindicators are pretty good at this, and they have a larger radius in which they threaten the villagers. So now let's get ready to go over how this design exactly works. Let's talk about this design a little bit before we get into building it. So yeah, they're being threatened by him. They can all get to their beds when it's laid out like this. They can all get to their workstations when it's laid out like this. And they're going to spawn iron golems within a certain radius around them. I don't know exactly what the radius is, but if the more spaces that there are to spawn the iron golem, the more percent chance that they're actually going to spawn an iron golem. They try about 10 times to spawn an iron golem. If they fail all 10 times, then an iron golem will not spawn in that round. I know if you have a 5x5 area where you're trying to spawn the iron golems, that gives you about 95% chance of spawning the iron golem whenever in that 30-second round that they try and spawn one. We're going to do a 7x5 area to spawn the iron golem, and that actually gives us a 97% chance of spawning the iron golem, which actually increases the farm's output. I did test this with that farm over there, which is built the same, except it has a 5x5 spawning platform for the iron golems on each side, and that one outputted roughly 700 iron ingots in an hour, where this one outputted somewhere between 715 and 720 iron ingots in an hour. So we are increasing that by about 20 ingots every hour just by adding on these extra places for the iron golem to spawn on the sides right here. So I mean, you don't necessarily need to put those in, but I do like outputting a little bit more. I mean, especially if you just have this thing running all the time. Like, let's say you leave it AFK overnight, that's 20 times 8, so that's gonna be a lot more iron that you get in an AFK session overnight from this thing. As I said before, we're also dropping it 20 blocks so that the iron golem gets out of their radius of sensing them as fast as possible, so it resets the cycle a lot faster. So you did see this one did hit that 3% where, oh, nope, it did just spawn. But yeah, sometimes they don't spawn, and that's because it's that 3% of the time when the iron golem doesn't spawn. You also need to think about protecting the villagers from things like lightning strikes and patrols, raid patrols. So I put this like iron golem spawning platform above them to protect them from lightning. So you should have a 5x5 area above them that actually protects them from lightning. This one is actually short one, but I'm not too concerned about that. You can move it back if you want. Another thing you need to keep in mind is patrols can shoot because they have long range. But if you do have them 20 blocks in the air, like we're going to build this one, you shouldn't have to worry about that at all. And I think zombies are the only hostile mobs that will actually go after these guys besides the raid patrols, so you don't have to worry about phantoms or skeletons or any other mobs getting to them. This iron farm design originally came from Techman88. I just made some minor changes to his design, so I definitely wanted to give him credit and link his video down below. Okay, so let's get into the build. I'm going to put the comment highlight on the screen right now. If you want one of your comments to be highlighted in one of my future videos, all you have to do is leave a nice comment below and subscribe to this channel. Also, if you want to suggest any future farms, you can do that in the comments below, or you can join my Discord. The link to join the Discord is below. Okay, let's get back into the content. So I had a lot of people in the Discord suggesting that I include a materials list, so I went ahead and did that in this video. If you want to suggest other things that I can improve in future videos, definitely join that Discord and let me know. We just need 6 workstations, 6 beds, and then 43 carpet total. They don't actually have to be these colors. You can use any colors you want. Also, you can use any building block you want. I'm just going to use spruce planks because I know it's super easy to get. You don't have to use oak trapdoors. You can use any kind of trapdoors and any kind of gate. And you can use any kind of light source as well if you want. We are going to have to get 6 villagers for this build. We're going to have to get 1 zombie for this build. And we're going to have to name tag the zombie. Also, if you have more water buckets than 1, that is also going to be helpful. So I'm going to build this one here, and what you want to do is figure out where the first little villager station pod is going to go. And we're going to want to build up, let's say 21 blocks just to be absolutely safe. So you can't do this in survival. What you'd want to do is pillar up 21 blocks like this and get up to the top, and just be careful once you're up there building this thing. You can also put a bucket of water down here at the bottom if you want, so you can drop down and just fall into the water and not take any damage. Okay, so I built 21 blocks up, and at this point we're going to want to build the first little pod. So go ahead and make a shape like this, and then we can go ahead and put down some beds like that. This is where they're actually going to be standing right here. And then in the back here, you can just put a block in the back like so. Once it looks like this, you want to put a trapdoor down here, and that is just to make sure that the level that the zombies or the villagers are looking at is going to be at the level that the zombie is, so that makes sure that they're seeing the zombie all the time. Also, it's supposed to help them from drowning in this water, which I heard does happen occasionally. Then you need to waterlog that trap door and put water in there. Then we need workstations on that bed, on this bed, and in the back right there. Then we can just cover the workstations with carpet. You can also put torches around the outside of these workstations like so that this whole area stays lit up. And then we also want to put a trap door just like that, and then put a carpet on top of it. So this workstation is all done. All we need to do is get the villagers in there. And the easiest way to do that is to build up a little area like this. Get some villagers up here on minecarts. Make sure they can't escape this. Once they're in here on minecarts, all you have to do is push them in, and then they'll be in the cell. Once we have all this set up, we can take out these blocks. And we're also going to need to count out 7 blocks to the middle to figure out where we're going to put the zombie. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Once we're there, then we're going to have to get our slab. Put this slab on top of that block like that. And then let's go ahead and count out another 7 to get to the other, to figure out where we need to put this other villager pod. So make sure there's 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks, and then on the fifth one, you can go ahead and put the other villager pod. You can put these blocks out to the side just like the other one and go ahead and put those beds down. And this one's going to be an exact mirror of the other side, so I'm just going to skip this part. So I did use different colored beds, carpets, and even different workstations, but you don't need to. These could be the same color beds. You can use any workstations you want as long as it traps the villagers in here, and you can use any color carpet you want. Okay, as you can see, I cleaned it up a bit and I spent absolutely hours getting these villagers in the place. These guys are so hard to work with. But once we get the villagers in place, what we need to do is build up 1, 2, 3 blocks, and we know that this is going to be the top of our spawning platform. That's the middle. So now we need to go out 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3 on each side to make it a 7 long platform, and then we're going to make it by 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and now we just need to fill all of this in. So now we have this in place. What we need to do is build up walls on this side. I do recommend putting a wall on this side. It can either be with glass or just any kind of building block, which I'm using planks, and that is to make it so that there's no line of view from the iron golem to the zombie that's going to be there. And that's because sometimes if you just use fence posts for this, the iron golem will be able to see the zombie and he'll try and be going towards him while the water's pushing him off this way, which makes him not fall off of this for a while, which makes the rates worse. Another thing I haven't mentioned yet is that we do want the water flowing towards the back of these pods, and that's because I've tested this, and if you have them flowing forward, more often than not, this pod of villagers will see the iron golem as it's falling and say, hey, we've seen an iron golem, and then they won't spawn their own iron golems. So making the water flow towards the back actually increases the rates of the farm significantly. Once you have this built, all you need to do is I like to put one more plank on the end. It makes this part a lot easier, and then we can put down our fences, open up the fence gates. So these are fence gates, and then we can just break the pieces underneath and go back down below and collect these back up again. But yeah, this is the spawning platform. All we need to do is put 2 water sources in each, or 1 water source in each corner, so 2 total. We want to try and get the iron golem to flow towards the middle if we can, so that's what we're doing with the water sources there. And now we need to mirror this same thing on the other side. Okay, so now we have it on both sides, and now we need to make these blocks up here so that the iron golems can't spawn on them. So I'm just going to put carpet across the top. This is why some people use fence gates for the sides, and that's because iron golems can't spawn on fence gates, but I'm just going to use carpet because it's nice and cheap. All I need is some sheep to get this stuff, so that's what we're going to do. Okay, so this thing's getting close. All we need is our zombie, which is kind of a hassle to get because you have to do it in the dark of night, and then we have to set up the collection down below. I think a lot of people have made this design before, but the design that they make is reliant on you getting a zombie into a cauldron, which is really hard to do. So I'm going to show you how to do this super nice and easy just with a minecart and a slab right here. If you can get a zombie on a minecart on the slab, it's the perfect height for this guy to see him. First, what we need to do is make sure that there's a block above him somewhere that will protect the zombie from sunlight so that he doesn't burn during the day. I like to put some torches on this. You also need to make sure that it's not spawnable, so I'm also going to put some carpet on top. Oh no, don't put a bucket of water. Put some carpet on top, okay, and then I'm going to put those back. And cool, I didn't break too much. So I'm going to need some rail to make this happen, but it's just temporary. It's not actually part of the build. And then we can just put the zombie down right there. Get the cart to try and get him into place there, and then we can take all of this away again. So you either need to get the zombie to hold something, which not all zombies do, or you need to put a name tag on him. So I have my name tag here. We're just gonna pop it right on this guy. Boo! So he's supposed to be scaring the villagers. That's why he's saying boo! Yeah, so now we just need to set up the collection underneath, and this thing will be spawning iron golems now as soon as all of the villagers get to sleep and all of them get to work at their workstations. That's when that happens. Sometimes there are errors where these villagers don't want to work on their workstations or they don't want to sleep, and what you can do is just switch out the beds, switch out the workstations, and that normally fixes it. Occasionally that doesn't fix it and you actually have to go and get a fresh villager, which is super annoying, but sometimes that's just what you got to do. So when we're building the collection system, you need to find the centerpiece, which is right here. Go ahead and dig down one. This is where our collection is going to go below that, and then we can put a hopper facing into that guy right there. I like to just do a section this low on this area right here. Then you need to make sure that there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Make sure there's 8 spots until this next rise like that. You can take all these out. Also make sure that you take out these 2 sides right here. And then you just need to build up the sides around this. The main thing that you're trying to accomplish is that when you put water on all of these places down here, the water here doesn't flow over. So if you were to put those down there, it would all dry up. And then you just want to knock out those 2 right there. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. And then that's going to make sure that nothing gets stuck and all the iron golems get pushed to the middle and all the items get pushed to the middle. Okay, so now I've put the water in on both sides and I've raised up the walls to at least 2 from the lowest point just to make sure that none of the iron golems escape. And the last thing we need to do is go ahead and we need to make the lava blade, which I like making it 2 off the ground. So we're going to make it right around this fence gate right here. I do have fire tick turned off in my world, and you're going to have to do that too if you want to use fence gates to do this, because it is going to burn the fence gates if you don't. You need to make sure that all these are open. So go ahead and just open all those up. And then you need to shift click on one of these and put a bucket of lava in there. So that is actually what is going to be killing the iron golems. And now this thing is all done. You're going to be getting about 720 iron ingots per hour. That's absolutely crazy. I hope you learned something from this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, definitely leave a thumbs up, and I'd love to see you in future videos. I'd love for you to come and hang out with me. And a way that you can do that is by subscribing so that I see you in future videos. So please consider subscribing if you enjoyed this. I'll see you in the next one. Okay, bye-bye for now.